Hey everybody, Jeff aka GCurse here. Welcome to a special GCurse Tries video, I guess you could say. I normally don't do these that much, because of, fat guy and food. But this is something I figured I could share with everybody. See here. This is also going to be kind of like a health update video. Uh, Earlier this month, I mean, like, it was around like the 2nd of this month. And by the way, it's August. It's currently August 22nd as I'm recording this. I came down with what I thought was a real bad case of food poisoning. I mean, it was bad, and I'm not sure if you really noticed, but there's been a little bit of a decline in the amount of videos that I put out. I still put out videos, but it's just like there's been a little bit of a decline, and it was kind of tied to that because I just was not feeling that good. I thought, like I said, I thought it was a bad case of food poisoning. Like all the symptoms pointed to food poisoning: upset stomach, diarrhea, dehydration, all of that. And normally, I've had it before, so I knew what to do, in the past. When you're dealing with food poisoning, you got to stay hydrated, stay hydrated, stay hydrated. That's like the main thing. It's like you got to stay hydrated. And I started to realize something was wrong. No matter how much I was drinking, now this is gonna be a little bit gross before I continue on. So if you don't want to hear gross shit, it's 8:48 in the morning. I understand. I understand if you don't want to see or any gross shit. I totally understand. But yeah. So from the 2nd to the 8th of August, like I said, I was dealing with what I thought was real bad food poisoning. And for those 6 days roughly, I spent a lot of time on the toilet. And the because of this, I started becoming more and more dehydrated. It was actually starting to become a real problem. No matter how much I drank, it felt like literally within a half hour I was right back on the toilet, and I got no reprieve at all. I mean, like over those days, I didn't get much sleep because of the stomach pain of having to rush to the restroom. The only thing I did not have a fever, and I did not throw up. Well, uh, on the 9th, well, actually the 8th, around just before midnight on the 8th, I was using the restroom, and come to find out there was blood in the stools. So when you see blood, that's like a warning sign you have to go to the hospital. So I got to the hospital, and I had to go to the emergency room. And I told them about what was going on, and they did a full exam, everything. I wasn't they did, they did all the tests, blood, urine, all that stuff. And they were like, "Dude, you're like horribly dehydrated." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know." I know, because of, constantly having to use the restroom. Because, diarrhea, it was just like literal water. There was nothing. So they're like, okay, we got to get you rehydrated and all that. I was in the emergency room for a little over 7 hours. I got there just after midnight. I got out of there just after 7 the following morning. But anyway, so I went there thinking, this was like the worst case of food poisoning I ever had. And they came back and the doctor was like, "Well, you don't have food poisoning." And I'm like, "Okay, well, what am I having then?" And she diagnosed me as having colitis, which is a they say it's inflammation and infection of the colon. And come to find out, I didn't just have colitis, I have a real bad case of colitis. And it is literally just destroying me right now. Um, so I have to go in for further tests because there's colitis and then there's like ulcerative colitis. And I'm not sure what the difference between them is yet. I'll find out when I go to have I have to go and have some tests done. I have a consult coming up pretty soon, so I'm, it's just it's really been hammering me. Uh they put me on antibiotics and that kind of helped, it helped with the stomach pain. Oh my god, the stomach pain was like horrendously bad. Imagine just having your insides constantly just torn out, you know. Uh it was kind of like that. The pain stopped, and thankfully over the last couple days the bowel movements have returned to normal, which is a fucking miracle because you would not believe, like people think, oh, it's just diarrhea, it's just diarrhea. It actually hurts after days and days of it. It wasn't just like, oh, you have diarrhea once a day. No, this was like almost every 10-15 minutes I was having to go to the bathroom, go to the bathroom, go to the bathroom. And that kind of explains why I didn't get much sleep. So I've been trying to, you know, just take it real easy. Anyway, there's days recently, there's days that I feel okay, but then there's days I wake up and it is just hard. It is fucking hard. And this was one of those hard days. Normally, like when I'm on break from work, which I actually return to work in 6 days. Uh, Normally during the summer, I love to get out, go for walks. I may not look it, but I'm, because of my size and everything. But I love to go out for walks. Especially in the morning and in the evening when it's not too hot out. But once I got this, and I originally, like I said, I originally thought it was food poisoning. But come to find out, colitis. I'm guessing colitis is possibly genetic or something. But once this really flared up, it's been hard. Like I will go out. Like I will wake up like a few days ago. I woke up and I felt good. I felt fine. I'm like, oh, I must be kicking it. I went out for a walk. I had to do some stuff in the community. And then, I would get home, and by the time I got home, I was just drained. And so, it's kind of like that. I'll wake up, some mornings and I feel good, and then I start moving and I start exerting myself. And by the time I get home, I'm just, you know, stuff that I could normally do for 2 months ago, stuff I could normally do 2 months ago without any problems. I get home and I literally feel the need to like take a nap. Like I am just almost dead. But so today was one of those days. Like even though it was hard to get out of bed, I wanted to go out for a walk. I went out for a walk. I went to get some groceries also because I was running low on like stuff, to make. So I went on a walk, and I was able to take a nice picture here. It's before the morning sunrise. I was able to take this nice picture. It was nice and cool. It felt good, getting out. It's just sadly, by the time I got home, I literally felt like I ran a 10K, like I just. Anyway, so I had a doctor's visit a little over a week ago, and I got off the bus. I went into the grocery store to get something to drink because I have been constantly fighting this issue with dehydration. I have been fighting it, real bad issue with dehydration. And hold on, let me pull this up. So I've been trying to find things to help, with hydration, like. So I was at the grocery store, and I'm willing to try something I haven't had before. Sometimes it may pay off, and I like it. There's times it does not pay off. I'm like, maybe not for me. And I came across a few days ago, well, let's do this. I came across this. It's called Vita Coco. It's coconut water. And I talked to my doctor, and he basically said that coconut water, it is actually really good for you. It has a lot of nutrients and electrolytes, and it'll hydrate me. So I thought, okay, well, I'll try that. I bought a bottle of or a box or bottle, whatever you want to call it. It's like a box. I drank it. It's not bad, but it's also because I never had it before. It was just something I was not expecting, I guess you could say. I wasn't sure what I was expecting, but that was not it. So I went out this morning, went out on a nice walk, got some nice cold air running through me and everything. I got to the grocery store, and I saw something that I didn't see when I was last there. I present to you Vita Coco Treats. This is coconut milk. This is orange and cream. Now, I understand this is going to be a little bit more sweeter than the standard because this is a treat. So I thought, you know what? Let's actually buy this. Let's buy this. And I actually posted, I posted a poll on my YouTube page. And it's basically me, I was letting people know that I was doing a GCurse Tries, which I normally don't do. And I like to do a poll just to see what people say. And I asked, have you ever had Vita Coco coconut water or milk? And just so everybody knows, this is coconut milk. This is not coconut water. This is coconut milk. And so far I got a couple of votes, which I do want to say thank you to everybody who voted. One person said yes, that they've had it. Another person said no, but they're curious. And that's cool. I like it. I like people who are more, open to trying new stuff. And then I got a comment from one of my viewers, and he said I've definitely tried it, and it has a very good taste. And I want to say, I'm glad you like it. I cannot wait to actually try this. I'm going to try the plain version again. Maybe after I've had it a couple times, maybe the taste will grow on me. But yeah, so I thought, you know what? Let's actually try this. I was going to make a GCurse Tries. What am I anticipating here, ladies and gentlemen? This is supposed to be coconut milk, so I'm wondering if it's going to be a little bit more silky, a little bit more smooth. Since it's orange and cream, I'm guessing that it's going to be a little bit more sweeter. So I understand that this is not going to be as healthy as your standard coconut water, but it's just, it says that it's refreshingly delicious. So I'm hoping that this still has a little bit of some of the health benefits that your standard coconut water would have. I understand that, like I said, that this is, it's a treat. It literally says a treat. I know it's reversed. You can't see it, read, but it's a treat right there. So I understand that it's not going to be as healthy, but then again, I don't really drink that much unhealthy stuff. And like I said, I drink so much water. It's just like I'm the type of person that if I don't feel thirsty, I'm not going to drink, you know? And that's kind of what the issue is. I got to constantly keep drinking so I can stay hydrated because of this medical issue I'm having. So let's get onto this, shall we? So let me move my keyboard so I can put this down here. I brought a glass with me. I'm going to pour out a little bit so I can show everybody what it looks like. I'm still not used to drinking out of these type of containers. It's like a cardboard container, or maybe it's like some sort of paper. I'm just not used to it. I'm used to like a plastic bottle or a metal jug or something, you know. Okay, so okay. Take a quick smell. I can barely smell it. Okay, let's. Okay, so the first thing is that it is definitely an orange color. The Vita one I had before, it was, if I remember correctly, it was just clear. It was just clear. I don't think it had any kind of coloring to it. But then again, like I said, this is, you know, it's a treat. It's orange and cream. So it only makes sense that, you know, that it would be like orange, you know. It kind of looks like milk, to be honest, you know, but then again, it is coconut milk. So, okay, now I can smell a little bit more. Huh. Let's try it, guys. 3, 2, 1. It's definitely more palatable uh for me than the standard coconut water was, but like I said, that was the very first time I drank Vita Coco, so I'm willing to give it another shot next time I go back, into the grocery store. This isn't that bad at all. Not bad at all. In fact, I'm going to have some more. Yeah, this is actually a pleasant surprise. I was not sure what to expect. I gave you my like prediction, like, oh, it's probably gonna be a little bit smooth and all that. But honestly, in the back of my head, I was actually thinking that this was gonna be like a clear liquid that would have just tasted like orange and cream. I'm actually shocked at how smooth and the coloring is. Like I said, if I was to put, like, say, orange colored milk and this next to each other, you'd probably think it was actually the same thing because this literally looks like milk. It literally looks like your standard milk. The thing is, in like in the back of your mouth, it you can still taste a little bit of like coconut. You can still taste just a little bit of coconut. I mean, it's barely there. I mean, like if you were not even thinking about it, you wouldn't even taste it. The orange and cream is what really stands out. Well, and if you're curious about what this is on my shirt, this is actually it's a dried paint stain from work last year. That's why I kind of always wear this overcoat with this shirt because I just don't want people seeing this, But yeah, who cares? Who cares? I actually like this a lot. And that is, but you think you're done pouring it out, and then that, oh no, more. I'm not sure where it's all coming from. It's like it just drips, and then okay, that goes. Okay. Well, this is so one bottle of that made up almost two and a half of these cups. But yeah, this is actually pretty good. Uh, it's not too overpowering, and like I said, it's smooth. if you've never had anything like this, it may take, a few drinks, I guess you could say, before you start really getting used to it. But yeah, this is actually pretty good. That was actually pretty good. So if I was to give Vita Coco Treats Orange and Cream a score, which I know I don't like to give scores because it makes it sound like I'm pushing my score on everybody. But if I was to give it a score, I would give it like say a 4.5. The only issue I have is it still takes a little bit of use drinking out of cardboard, because this is literally like cardboard, I guess. I'm not sure exactly what the correct term is, but it's not your standard bottle. It's like a little speed bump you gotta get over when you're drinking out of it. I'm not sure. I'm sorry if you hear a noise. The grounds landscapers are outside working right now. I actually had my windows open when I started doing the recording, and then they started working, and it's just like, I gotta close the windows. Yeah. But yeah, so that is it. Like I said, this is basically a simple me trying something video, and I just want to give like a little bit of a health update. So what can you expect from in the near future? In the near future, I'm going to be returning to work this coming Wednesday. So already the video production, output that I do, it is going to be a little bit it's going to be a little bit slowed down because I work from basically 8 to 5. And with minus, a few minutes, give or take. I'm wondering exactly where the hell are they at? It sounds like they're right outside my door here. Anyway, I do have a installment of Unsolved Mysteries commentary I'm going to be starting to work on after I get done recording this. Sorry. But other than that, I'm just, it's going to be a little bit slower, once that work starts. I just really wish I could have done a little bit more this month. But like I said, it's just, I got diagnosed with colitis. And right now, it is just really hammering me. I get up in the morning and, there's times, I wake up and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to be doing this. I actually have like a schedule in my mind what I want to do. I get out of bed, I start moving around, and all of a sudden it's just, like I just start feeling bad and whatnot, so. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to get this edited and uploaded, and I guess that's it. I will see you next time. Maybe next, then if I do another GCurse Tries in the near future, I will do the plain version of Vita Coco. They actually have one called Vita Coco. It's like extra coconut. It's in a white package. The coloring packages, they have like your standard blue, white, and then orange. But that is it. If you're ever curious, go ahead, give it a try. It actually tastes pretty good. It wasn't as jarring as the original was. But that's it. I will see you next time, and I hope you all take it easy. So until then, peace out, everybody.